California on Tuesday night.
Senator from California, or so you?
Honestly, where are we going to be on San Francisco, right?
LA.
Oh, LA. Okay, we'll be in LA, I think. Yeah.
Hi. So most academics and experts tend to agree on the issues of climate change, that it's happening, and agree that wealth inequality is increasing. But this election seems to show that a lot of the American people, at least, don't see that that's happening. Not necessarily a majority.
Don't see what is happening.
Don't agree that necessarily climate change is happening. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a majority, but there are some Americans who.
Well, some do, yeah.
Right, and there's some contention over the facts. How would you, as president, shift the debate away from the facts and toward what we should do?
Well, I think that what has happened in recent years, and I would credit the Pope Francis, his encyclical on climate change is playing an important role. I'm on the Environmental Committee in the Senate. And the deniers, those people who say, oh, climate, like Donald Trump, those people who say that climate change is a hoax, their voices are becoming a bit more muted. Because it's just hard to deny the evidence that the people of California see every day with drought, with the numbers that come out that every year seems to be warmer than the previous year. That, people in my state, we have a lake that used to freeze over, Lake Champlain between New York and Vermont. It doesn't freeze anymore. People see this. So I would say that more and more people, and especially younger people, overwhelmingly believe that climate change is real, and they want to see real action. And one of the differences between Secretary Clinton and myself is I think that this crisis is so severe that we do need to impose a tax on carbon. And I understand that Trump lives in his own world and works with the fossil fuel industry, but I think that fewer and fewer Americans hold that point of view. Sir?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about political revolution, because that's been a big part.
Can we stay on economics for a moment?
Sure.
Yeah, what was your question?
Well, another question, because I do work for the university, is a bit about tuition, because you've been talking about
Yeah.
making tuition free.
Yeah.
So what do you think the model is to make that as tuition continues to rise? One of the problems that we have here at this university, or a controversy that we've had, is bringing in out-of-state students or students from other places. How do you respond to the controversy?
Well, I think, and Secretary Reich teaches here, he knows more about it than I do. But all over the country, including the University of Vermont, schools are scrambling and they're figuring out ways to bring in revenue. I look at it from a different point of view, and that's what this campaign is about, is looking at things from a different approach. And I understand that the Chancellor has a problem. But the way I look at it is different. The way I look at it is to say that we are the richest country in the history of the world. We have seen a massive expanse in income and wealth inequality. We have seen a rapid rise in millionaires and billionaires. We have seen a situation where large multinational corporations in a given year pay not a nickel in federal taxes because they stash their money in the Cayman Islands. And what I believe, and again, this is an idea that the vast majority of the American people agree with. Nothing radical about it. We live in a competitive global economy. We will not succeed unless we have the best educated workforce in the world. So our job is to encourage not only young people, but workers to get the education that they need. And the way you do that is by having tuition-free public colleges and universities. And that is an idea that is supported by people all across the spectrum who understand how important education is to our country, and we pay for that. We pay for it through a tax on Wall Street speculation. That's what we do, What the conventional wisdom is about is Wall Street's greed and illegal behavior destroyed the economy. Of course we're going to bail them out. Why would we not bail them out? But young people who desperately need a good education, of course they should leave school $50,000 or $70,000 in debt. Why would we help them? They're not wealthy campaign contributors. That's the kind of thinking we have got to break through. All right, the needs of young people in this country and the future of our economy is as important as Wall Street. Okay, maybe just a few more questions. From people who haven't been traveling with me. Anybody here from California? Yes, sir. Yeah.
Senator, you talked a lot about a lot of anger among the American people.
Yeah.
And that anger was palpable on the streets of San Jose last night. It was scary. Some of those protesters that were engaging in violence identified themselves as Bernie Sanders supporters. Whether they are or not, who knows?
Right.
What are your thoughts on what happened?
Well, my thoughts are very clear. Violence is absolutely and totally unacceptable. And I do not want anybody, if people are thinking about violence, please do not tell anybody you are a Bernie Sanders supporter, because those are not the supporters that I want. I understand how reprehensible and disgraceful Donald Trump's positions are, how ignorant they are, how much he is appealing, and I can understand the anger, I surely can, because I feel it. The bigotry that is coming from his mouth, the insults to the Mexican community and the Latino community and the Muslim community and women and African Americans and veterans. I understand the anger, but we are not going to defeat Trump, by throwing eggs or getting involved in violence of any kind. We defeat Trump when we stand together as one people and fight for a progressive agenda, educate, organize, bring out large numbers of people. And as I've said many times, in every national poll that I have seen, Bernie Sanders is not only ahead of Donald Trump, but in some cases ahead of him by a whole lot. I think here in California, I don't know what it is, 17 points or a lot more than that. So we will defeat Trump. But the way to defeat him is not by violence of any kind, not by her personal harassment. It's by educating, by organizing, and bringing people out to vote. Okay. Yes, sir. No, this will be the last question. Yeah.
It's been a difficult process to increase the $15 minimum wage in Berkeley alone. And I'm curious to know how you would apply that in areas like the Central Valley.
Well, you say it's been a difficult process, and in one sense, that's true. But let me give you another sense. If we were sitting here 5 years ago, and somebody said, you know what, I think we should raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, that thought would have been incomprehensible, right? That's more than double the current federal minimum wage. So I think in recent years we have made real progress on that, primarily because of the courage of fast food workers who went out on the street, who went on strike, who demonstrated and told this country they can't make it on $7.25 an hour. So I think all I can tell you, and Secretary Reich made the point, that when we raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, it will eliminate poverty for millions of people. It will give single mothers the ability to raise their kids in dignity, with dignity. It will also put money into the hands of working people who will then go out and spend it. So this is a very effective economic stimulus for the whole economy. And it will be easier, and I appreciate the communities that have fought to raise the minimum wage, and they have my support. But ultimately, it is a lot easier and more effective when we do it in 50 states in this country and at every city and town in this country. Thank you all very much.